if we can achieve this, I really do think if we pull this off, that this is a model for lots of other issues.
Yeah, it is. It is. So that's why it's important for us to document the whole process.
Yes, that's right.
And I've, in that, the piece that I'm writing for the catalogue, I've started writing it, and one of the things that I've realised when I was writing is that there's, in an arts-science collaboration where the what's envisaged at the end is an exhibition, there would appear to be an asymmetry in that what you end up with at the end is not a scientific paper or a talk at a conference, but you end up with an artwork.
We are going to be talking at a conference next year, an art science conference, so we can make a publication from this as well as an artwork, and that's my hope. Yeah, because we are learning something from this. This is new knowledge. Yeah,
and my thinking then that, and what I just described was perhaps a simplistic way of seeing it. And might be some of the experience of some of our other colleagues in it. That it's the artist driving the outcome, and I've thought that, well, in fact, that's only one part of it. It's really the process is an important one. To me, there's other aspects to it, not just the ultimate aim, the ultimate output. It's also the process we're going through, the changes in you and I, and so they're just as important as what people look at the end. So therefore it's important that we document those other things that are happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think this is the beginning of something too, because I know already that Shona's shift from making objects for traditional gallery spaces, the shift away from that to working with in an ephemeral way with people in the environment, taking children, for example, is more about the process and the experience and the growth in understanding for herself as well as the people she works with.
Yes.
And that's one thing that I think warrants further attention after all this.
Yeah.
And if we're having this experience, what are the experiences of all the other people involved? It's kind of poor.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So this is what I'd like to talk about at the conference next year. This process that we're experiencing.
Right.
Because it's the theme of the conference is art science interactions. The focus is the Antarctic, but we'll be arguing that this has a global relevance. And we will. There will be some way that we can reference the Antarctic forces at work in the global changes that are impacting on seagrasses.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not the realm normally of scientists to think in that way, I would have thought.
Do you mean those big picture ways, those big picture connect? No, for most scientists, no, not unless you're a big system scientist, who think about the way the world works at those great big scales. Yeah.
And it seems rather daunting for artists to even start to think at that scale when we don't have the scientific knowledge, which is why we need to have these conversations.
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
Okay. So
I'll contact Jason and ask him about another date in the data arena, and I'll start thinking about storylines.
Yes.
For the. Do you want me to do it for just the ground, for the floor video, or for the whole three of them?
I think the three are interconnected. I think they have to be interconnected.
Yeah.
So maybe there's one story that we tell in different ways.
Yeah.
Through these three projections.
Yep.
And then that makes it so much easier for people to navigate through the space.
Yes.
If they know they're being told pretty much the one story, but they're coming at it from different perspectives.
Yeah.
So what are those perspectives? We talked about, you wrote a list of themes. Interdependence was one of them.
Yeah.
So they're abstract concepts. In terms of an experience in an exhibition, it's difficult to visualise the interdependence of the fishes on the seagrass, for example. But we can visualise relationships. And it's basically the relationships between the forms.
Yeah.
It sounds very simplistic, but things go up and down.
Yeah.
Things get bigger and smaller.
Yep.
So it comes right back to the basic principles of visual language, which Shona has written extensively about. Has really abstract qualities.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Isn't that interesting?
It is.
I'm getting so excited about this.
Wonderful.
So I guess the thinking is clearly the avatar is important.
Yeah.
So the question will be, where does that figure in the time lapse?
Yes.
And what's the focus of attention on each of these?
Yes.
So
So have you got that list that we wrote down those list of concepts that we thought were important?
Just looking for it.
I think it was in your notebook.
It was. But those three, I guess another question we could consider now is, what is the focus? What's the difference between these perspectives?
That's what I was just thinking the same thing about. If we have a look at those concepts,
that could trigger something.
Yeah, variation, interdependence or connectivity, diversity,
change, not balance.
Yep.
Sequestration.